We tend to have the wrong idea of what freedom means in the West. We tend to associate freedom with the yes. But really, freedom is about the no. So we tend to think of freedom as, oh, I can do whatever I want, I can say whatever I want. And to a certain extent, this is true. But it's not the only part of freedom. And in fact, it's not the part of freedom that matters most. What matters most is the no. So let's take the example of drug use, right? You might be like, oh, I'm free. I can do any drugs I want, anytime I want. Nobody can stop me. But what do we see that ends up happening is people become addicted, right? They said yes to the drug. They're like, I'm going to say yes again. I'm going to say yes again. And before they know it, they get to a point where they can no longer say no at all. The same thing happens, let's say you're in a new relationship and your significant other one day smacks you across the face. Now, a lot of people, most people, be like, that's it, I'm done. But let's say this person comes to you and like, oh, I'm really sorry. Oh, please forgive me. It won't happen again. And then it happens again. And then they come and they say, hey, please forgive me. Or if they're emotionally abusive, or not even abusive, let's just say they're emotionally distant, somebody who, habitually doesn't respond to you, doesn't come see you unless they want sex, these kinds of things. And you say yes, and then you say yes again, and then you say yes, and it establishes this pattern, and you lose your ability to say no. And this is where you begin to lose freedom, is when you lose this ability to say no. And we see this in dictatorial countries, right? Dictatorial countries, they never have a problem with, oh, the people are allowed to say yes to too much. The problem is that they're not allowed to say no to anything, ever. And so really, our freedom comes from no, the word no. So by saying yes, we establish an expectation. No allows for boundaries. No, you're not going to hit me. No, you're not going to ignore me. No, I'm not going to agree with this ideology or this thought process that you've presented. No, that's where freedom is. And a no can become a yes a lot easier than a yes can become a no. So let's say you get offered a job interview and you're like, oh, I don't know about that job. I don't know if I'm qualified. And you say no. Well, you might reach out a few hours later and be like, actually, I've reconsidered. Can I still have the interview? So whether they say, I'm sorry, it's too late or not, isn't the relevant point. The point is you were able to change your mind and go to a yes. Whereas if you said yes, and then you're like, oh, I've changed my mind, there's this obligation to still go. Yeah, so there's a lot more power in a no than a yes. Something else I want to talk about is discipline. And discipline is vital for freedom. Without it, we really don't have freedom. When we start mistaking allowing everything for freedom, we really get on a slippery slope. And discipline is important for another reason. Let's say we give ourselves everything we want the second we want it. Gives us that little serotonin boost. Ooh, we feel good. But that's fleeting. Whereas if you work for something and you build it over time, when you get that reward, it's more long lasting. It's more permanent. So think about shopping. Right? Big online shopper, so I'm not judging. But if you buy everything the second you get it, oh, that felt so good. Oh, the feeling's gone. Oh, that felt so good. Oh, the feeling's gone. And you have to do it more and more and more. Whereas if you save money, you're like, I'm going to save for this one thing that I really want. And you save money and you work for it and you get it. You're going to appreciate it more. So one of the reasons that we're so unhappy as a species, especially now, is because we're filling ourselves with these quick fixes when what we need is a complete restoration of our souls. the good news is God can provide this restoration of the soul. In fact, it's the only thing that can provide this restoration of the soul. Because what happens is we get this empty space and we're trying to fill it with all these physical things, or maybe we're trying to fill it with sex or drugs or hobbies or all these other things. But if there's no space for God, think about it as having a lock, and the key is God-shaped. And no matter what other key you try, only the God key is going to unlock that, and it's going to fill the space. So think about that today. Think about the power of the no. Think about delayed gratification, and think about how God, eternal, loving, all-powerful, can fill this space that would otherwise remain broken. And don't forget to like and follow and share and comment. Do all the things. This isn't a one-sided conversation. Let's have a conversation. Till next time.